covering the eastern parts of this country. We're also live and clear on Match 100 FM, the source of entertainment. We're also live and clear on Western Nile FM, covering the Western Nile region, Teso sub-region, Karamoja sub-region, and the northern parts of this country. Ampere Amon Utegra is my name, and I welcome you to this edition of Ground Zero. I believe this is a very wonderful day that the Lord has made, that you and I must be glad and rejoice in it. We are having another yet important topic to discuss today in Ground Zero today. It's a very big privilege and honor that I've been joined by a special team of guests who are going to discuss important issues of national development but address the people's concerns. I'm proud to discuss or to introduce to you our topic that says Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world is our topic today in our discussion. And you must know that the old people or old persons have a great contribution in as far as the Ugandan society is concerned, but also as the world at large. The population of the old persons aged 60 years and above is raising concern in many countries, where old persons aged 60 years and above have dramatically increased worldwide, catching many governments totally unprepared. This has increased the profound consequences at individual, community, and national levels. That's the need for appropriate response by governments, communities, leaders, and as the individuals as we prepare for our senior citizens. According to Uganda Population and Housing Census of 2002, 4.6% Uganda's population were old persons aged 60 years and above. This translates to 1,101,039 old persons, whereby by 2005-6 it was estimated population of old persons at the 1,196 and 436 with 634,156 male and 5,062 being females. That means that our old persons are increasing day by day. The government of Uganda has always realized this trend of old persons and has always been committed to addressing their concerns. Our concerns today, or our discussion today, we're going to see how the government has realized or has embraced this kind of concern and their promise to the old persons. How have they been recognized? But also going to look at the contributions of the old people in our Ugandan society. Before I go into the details of our discussion today, allow me to introduce you my partner in the studios of UBC as your number one radio station, but also Ground Zero, which is your most favorite radio program. In the studios of UBC, I welcome you, Bialgaba John Mary, for the second time on Ground Zero. You're most welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
You may greet the people of Uganda.
Yeah. Dear listeners out there, let me take this singular occasion to welcome you to this Ground Zero program. And I'm so delighted that today, than ever before, I have very important people of the substance whom I'm going to discuss with. And
Okay.
I pray that you listen carefully so that we can be enriched through this program.
Interesting. Most welcome, sir. Bialgaba John Mary is the General Secretary for the Council of Older Persons from KCCA, Kampala Capital City Authority. It's a very big privilege and honor to have you, Honorable Wako Paji.
Thank you.
Is the MP or elders from Western Region, and I welcome you to this edition of Ground Zero. I think it's your first time to be here.
Actually, it's not my first time.
Okay.
I had ever held a program here with one of your staff called Baguma.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Okay.
also we are discussing issues of old persons.
And there's
Another
also
thing I would like to put to correct, I don't represent Western region.
okay.
I'm a national female member of parliament representing old persons. I'm national.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not for Western alone.
Interesting. It's a big privilege having you at UBC Ground Zero, Honorable.
You're welcome.
We also have a privilege to have Rose Chuanuka, a privilege to have you at UBC Ground Zero.
Thank you, Amon
Yes.
Butega,
Oh,
for
yes.
hosting us.
Okay.
It's lovely to be on this radio, and I say good morning to our listeners.
Interesting. Rose Chuanka is the palliative care for old persons, and it's very interesting that I have a very strong panel to discuss the resilience and the contribution of the elderly in the changing world. We are the series Uganda at 60 as we prepare to celebrate our independence as Uganda. Biarugaba?
Yes, please.
Interesting to be part of this program for the second time discussing the senior citizens.
Yes.
Who are these senior citizens and at what age do we consider you to be an old person in Uganda?
To correct my name, Anga John Mary.
Biaruhanga.
Yes, Biaruhanga
Okay.
John Mary.
Thank you.
According to regulations, guidelines, the older person is a person, male or female, or a female who has attained 60 years and above. And this is the group of people who have lived in this world and attained that that age of 60 and above.
Okay. Interesting that we have learned who is considered to be the old person. Before we started this edition, I played a song by Ken Rogers in saying that when he was coming home from work, he saw his future. The old man and his wife were holding hands. They were sitting on the front porch, swing like the two young lovers, that life does not grow dimmer with the setting of the sun, but the best years of our lives are yet to come. Most people think that the best life one lives is when they get old. But how true is that? Because in this world, especially in the Ugandan society, people seem to be fearing old age. How true is that, Honorable Wako?
It is true. Thank you so much, moderator. It is true. As you grow, people tend to fear old age. And I think they are right. Because as you grow, you come nearer to death. And as you grow, there are a lot of things which you are doing when you are active, when you were with a youth, which you want to do again. And then old age comes with a lot of diseases. So once one sees that it's now going to 60, you start getting worried. You have been in a public office or in a civil service, now they tell you to retire. You have been enjoying certain things, now you have to reduce. You have been eating certain foods, not falling sick, now you begin falling sick from time to time because of the foods you are eating. You develop certain diseases which you never had before. So all the time you are worried, all the time you are on standby thinking of this and that. So I think as people get old, they are right to get worried.
Okay.
Does that worry you, Rose?
I can add to that, but I'll first start by clarifying. You introduced me as a palliative care for older persons. I want to say that I'm a palliative care nurse and the first palliative care nurse in Uganda, and not just for older persons, but for everybody. But I have special interest in palliative care for older persons because I'm in that age group as well.
Someone might want to know what is that known as palliative care.
Good question. Palliative care, thank you so much, Amoni.
Mm.
Palliative care is that service which is given to people. It is holistic care, looking at a person as a whole, physically, socially, spiritually, so that this person is comfortable as she lives in this world. As you heard our honorable say, that people get worried as they grow old because they are losing their youth. So they get worried. So palliative care can come in and comfort you. As we grow, we start getting funny pains. Palliative care can help you to take away that pain. But also there is loneliness. We ensure that there is social support in terms of of people around you, so that you don't get worried and you don't feel that you are actually alone. Growing old is very good, because when I was young, I was like, I need to grow old, because when I grow old, I will be respected. When I got into my 40s, I started realizing that I was actually growing old and my futures were changing. Then when I got to 50, I was like, oh my God, my body image has changed. I started growing gray hair and I didn't like the gray hair. And people started pointing out that you're aging. And it's at that time that you start being sensitive about your body image, and you start dyeing your hair, and then you start applying makeup because you don't want those wrinkles, and people really get worried. But I'm here to encourage, as we are saying, resilience. I'm here to encourage the older persons and also the community. One, to respect the older persons, because every wrinkle you see on the older person's face represents something very important. And we should respect that. And we should encourage them to talk, to say, to verbalize, to also share, so that we can learn from them. And I would also encourage the older persons not to worry about the body image. That body image tells it all, that we've seen a lot and we appreciate it, and people should respect the image of the older persons.
Okay.
Yeah,
John Mary,
yes. If I
the
can
resilience of the old persons in this changing world. Are they changing because they're in the changing world? Should we hate the gray hair because we're in the changing world? We are not in the former times where the gray hair was respected. As Rose said, you have to apply the makeup in that you may not be recognized as the old persons.
Okay, Mr. Amani, thank you so much. In first place, I'd love also to send my greeting to our senior and contemporary, His Excellency, the President of Uganda. Yes, but segment, fear of being an old man or a woman, it is just a syndrome that has just come to our to our new generation, because in the past, somebody being a senior citizen or being an older person, it was a prestigious stage, a prestigious stage, and where everybody could admire to be an older person. But nowadays, to the contrary, you find that people are fearing even to be called Muzei. I saw one person on the street here in Kampala here, when a guy said Muzei Mvirampito, and then the guy quarreled, almost fighting with that. Ompita mukadego ankuza, So now people sometimes they fear this being old, in first place, about their security, because they think that when you grow old, you cannot have the same muscle to fight back or to fight for your rights as you've been doing during your teenager life. Life. Right? And then another thing, people think about the independence. Now everybody thinks that I'm going to be dependent to somebody, because if majority of our people have not saved enough, have not having life security, food security, because now once your energy is spent, you will be at the mercy of those people who are taking care of you. For example, somebody like you in public services, I heard there are some people who are bribing the national IDs to change their their years, so that because he knows once he goes to the world, there is no security. There is now he's going to suffer. He used to be driving his car, enjoying life, but now once he retires, he will not get this. So I think it wouldn't be our culture. Let's go back to our ordinary traditional culture. And another thing, these people, why they fear to be old is that they see these older persons are suffering. They cannot get what they want. And even if it comes for service delivery, these are the people who have been excluded. So now our people, because we don't have that security, social security, and the personal security, people think when you get old, you will be subject to all those predicaments. But for me, I would love to encourage our older persons out there that people should enjoy and actually should be proud of being old. Many young men nowadays, they are dying like rats. But for us who have been able to discipline ourselves, we are able to survive. And then you become a source of wisdom. You become a source of cultural heritage. But people think when you get old, everything is done. So what I'm encouraging my brothers and sisters out there, and even the young men, especially these service providers and technocrats, you find the majority of our people are young men and ladies in the offices. When the issue comes to take care of older person, they think it is a wastage of time, a wastage of money. It is not, because these people, if they are not there, you wouldn't be there where you are. This is the thing I tell majority of our people. And then we must know that we are source of blessing, the same time source of curse. So somebody will not necessarily curse you, but your action, which you advance toward that particular person, will bring you curse with you. Well, it is either way around. You can get blessings when you've given an adequate services. Because the majority of our people, you think, now you can imagine when you are old, everybody say, with this old man, we don't need to give him money, we give him, and he counts. Now this 5,000 will take you for 5 days. You'll be using it 1,000 each day, which is injustice, which is an abuse. So being resilient in this world, this theme is just waking. It's a wake up call. Tell our older person, though we are old, we shouldn't just surrender our life. Our rights, and then telling the another generation that though we are these old persons are aged, they are support. They still have equal rights like any other person in this world. And we who are light advocates for other persons, that's where we come in. We say no. These people have made a very outstanding contribution to to our nation. For example, now we are going to celebrate the day of International Day for Other Persons, which will take place on 1st October in Nairobi. So the reason for us of coming here is to let you know that this day, it is important day for us, other persons. But it's not about merrymaking and the speeches and the celebrations. No, the United Nations had its objective, because this is the section of people who are being long forgotten in our society. So he wanted to designate this day so that everybody comes on board. And then even our older persons who have been hiding in our rooms to come out and say, no, though you are counting us as a dead persons or a dead being, but we're still alive and we still enjoy, we need to enjoy our same life like we've been doing.
Interesting. The old agers used to be, or the old persons used to be the source of comfort, care, love, and security. I remember when we were growing up as children, we would run to our grannies, to our kaka and judges, in case anyone threatened to beat us. And when you would go there, you'd be assured of most ripe banana, the best prepared milk or food or drinks. You would realize that their hands were the source of comfort. A mere touch, you'd really appreciate the God's creation. Their hands were just the source of sleep. You'd never needed sleeping pills, but just going on the laps of Jaja or that old woman, you would find yourself sleeping. But today, going to Jaja or the old woman, you would go there at your own cost, assured of slaps, kicks, beats. Where is the stress coming from, Honorable?
By the way, thank you, Amon. But I wanted to talk a bit about this old age, having fear in old age.
Please.
You see, when you first of all, retirement.
Yeah.
One retires at the age of 60. You have been living that luxurious life. You have been having your facilities. When you go to the hospital, you are treated. When you go to the bank, you are served. You are even given a loan. But now time comes, you have clocked 60 and they tell you to retire.
You lose it all.
And you didn't prepare for that retirement. Now, the moment you retire, all the services you were enjoying, you no longer get them. And at times, at 60, some of the people still have children they have to educate. So now he's an old man, 60 years, still his children are going to school. The pension he's getting is so small, it won't help him at all.
And others are not getting pension.
And others are not getting pension. Not only that. Now, even those who are supposed to get the pension, the way the pension is arranged, it has been decentralized. Somebody from Gulu or from where is supposed to come to Kampala to process his pension. He's not able to travel in the bus. He doesn't have transport. The poor man is there. And when he reaches Kampala, whom does he find in the office? These young boys and girls. They start tossing him left and right and right. And at the end of it all, either he loses the pension or he ends up being frustrated and he doesn't get his pension. And if he's to get it, I know it, he has to cough something big, part of his pension is taken away, and he goes home with a peanut.
But the institutional structures or government structures, you can go to the sub-county, register, and then you wait for your pension.
Those
Is
are
it functional?
those are not those are as of now they are not functional. That is one way was still telling you. Another one are these old people in the villages. You said that you used to run to your grandparents, you get bananas, you get what, and you are treated well. These days, in fact, even in the past,
It is opposite.
the moment you get old, they think you are a witch doctor. They think you are a night dancer. They think you are what? They start avoiding you. They start discriminating you. And to make matters worse, when you are young, you produce your own children. You struggled. You educated them. They are all now working in these big offices, and they have produced their own children. None of them wants to send his children
To the
come
village.
to the village to come and stay with you because they have to study in good schools. They have to eat good things which you cannot afford to give them. And what happens? Most of the people, you see them rushing home on Christmas time. Now Christmas is coming. Now Christmas is coming, everybody will be rushing home to go and have Christmas with his parents. Why do you wait for Christmas? Why can't you start sending a kilo of sugar, meat, whatever you have to your parents even throughout the year, rather than waiting for Christmas when you also go there and you also eat on those things and you also get visitors. By the time you leave, they are finished. Your parents, your grandparents go back to zero. And another thing which happens when we get old, especially some men, some polygamous men, he sees the woman now, she's too old, she's no longer
Cooking.
of use, he looks for a younger girl. Or if they had employed a maid, this old man picks on the maid. he forgets the wife. So all those things have got toward us. So really, being old, one is right to worry and one is right to, we have to plan for it. And I think that's why now we are having, the government is having structures. Even that's why we're in parliament. Even that's why we are having these days, like the International Day for Old Persons. We have another day in June, abuse for old persons. All these days we want to create awareness so that people should know being old is not a crime. Anybody will get old, anybody will reach there. One day, let me mention this. I was listening to these programs in Kampala here, such programs after 10. A whole member of parliament went on one of the radios and said that Museveni brought these old people to parliament to do nothing. Some of them are being wheeled there. Really? If you are a policymaker and you are saying such a statement, now what do you expect others to say? So those are the things we have to fight. We as old people, we have to fight for our own rights. We have to create awareness to say that being old is not a crime, is not a disease, and after all, everybody will get old.
Exactly.
Maybe talking about the persons who have been joining the institutions, even the parliament, when such people go there, they don't represent the views, the interests of the old persons. Maybe that's why we sometimes say that we are just there to be recognized, but not to represent the people.
I think that one is not true. Because being in parliament, it's not a matter of going on the floor of parliament and start talking. This one point of order, mania information and what. No, we have so many structures through which we present our ideas. We have sectoral committees, we have forums, we have we have caucuses. In all these, we present our views, and some of these views, after we have presented them, we have our spokespersons, like the prime minister, the caucus have got, the opposition have got chief whip. Once we come up with these ideas, then they can be expressed through those. But it isn't a matter of standing up on the floor of parliament so that we are recognized by cameras to say nothing. We plan for
Honorable,
our people, and
the parliament has now 2 years, this 11th parliament, and we have over 5 or 6 representatives of the old persons.
they are
But
five.
there are 5. But we have not seen any change from the past time in these 2 years so far that we have moved.
The change is there.
Anything new that you've brought?
Of course, the change is there. The first one
Mm-hmm.
is that we are fighting, I think in the next financial year, the money
Of the older
of
persons?
the old person, we hope it is going to be increased because we have talked about it, we have reasoned it. Even during this financial year, we had thought it was going to be increased, but at the last moment, they said there was no money. But we have that hope that it is going to be increased. That is one. Then other things, there were no drugs in the health units in Uganda, but we talked to the Minister of Health. Now in any health unit, you'll find there drugs for old persons. Another thing, we have this SAGE program. The money for SAGE program, when SAGE program started, it was going in a few districts that every year government was planning to increase on 5 districts every financial year. But when we reached parliament, we said no. When we all our people be served. As I talk now, starting with the last year, when we convinced the parliament, now the whole country is being served. Of course, it has had some implications because those which started first, they were being served at 60 years. But when we requested that the whole country should be served, when they worked out, the government couldn't afford the money to pay everybody from 60 and above. That's why they zeroed from 80 and above. But we are still fighting. Even that 80 with us, we are not satisfied. We want the 80 to be reduced, if anything, if it can be 70.
Talking about that pension of the old persons, and now you want it to be increased. Are you not becoming somehow selfish? Because other groups which are of the same or even more vulnerable, like persons with disabilities, are not getting any coin. Now for you, you have and you want to be added.
You didn't understand it. I didn't talk about the pension. I talked about the SAGE. This is the social grant for old persons. That is the 25 shillings.
Yes, talking about that 25.
The
Others are
25
not getting
shillings.
even 100.
Yes, those who are not getting it, don't worry. Those who are not getting it, we have also already. The year 2016, we requested the president for something to be done. The president gave us 10 billion. That 10 billion never came out until now when we are in parliament. It is when we have pressed, and during this financial year, out of the 10 billion, government has released 5 billion. And this 5 billion the government has released is going to be given between to those who are between 60 and 79. Because they are still active. If they get this money, we hope they will do something with it. And we started encouraging them to form their own circles. That is one. Second, another thing, there is this parish development model program. The first, if you can recall, the first arrangement of that.
I mean, this grant, which is they call SEGO, Social Senior Citizens Grant, which is not, I mean, the ministry is still making what the guidelines, and the money has been already dispersed. But now, you imagine an older person is taking care of the children whom you produce and send them to us, and even their medication. We don't have free medical insurance. It's good. It's good. It is a good opportunity. Even our MPs here, we are requesting her, and you go back with your 4 members to advocate for free insurance cover, because majority of our people, they die because simply they cannot afford the medical bills. So now that argument of being selfish does not rise. We are senior citizens, but we are left at the God's mercy. So, and there are older persons who are also still active, but once you retire from services, now they retire from 60. And others even did not get the opportunity to be in the informal sector. They have been living hand to mouth. Now, then the whole money they get, we give you our sons to go to attain education. Once you get to Kampala here, you get to UBC, you never return the village. What you do is just sending your children, especially these girls, when they produce their children, they don't want to bother themselves. They send those children, and we take care of them. And even there are some orphans from HIV/AIDS. So all that has not been considered. When they send this money for children, these older persons cannot go there and grab. So now I wanted to clarify on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rose, you've heard from the Honorable and also John Mary says that actually John Mary has just said that you are depending on God's mercies. But looking at the structures, especially in Uganda, the old persons are the most favored and have all the structures and institutions favor them. You have the National Association of Old Persons. KCCA has the Council for Old Persons. You are recognized in the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. The Constitution of Uganda recognizes you. You have the Equal Opportunities Commission Act 2017 on Part 111, Section 14 of the Equal Opportunities. You have all it takes to enjoy life in Uganda, but you seem to be not satisfied yet.
Thank you, Amoni, for highlighting all those things. We are happy that we appear in all those documents that you have mentioned. The functionalities of this is what we are saying. And then there you are complaining as a youth that we are actually receiving the best. It is good we are in all these documents, but the functionality of this and the money trickling to the older person is what we are saying. Are we getting what we actually need to get? Remember, At 60, you retire, you go back to your community, poverty sets in, and there are a lot of needs for this older person, and yet there is no income at all. If these structures could be put in place and they are functional, it will be very good. We are happy that there is that little that is coming in for the older person, which is a 25?
25.
25. But honestly, can you live on that 25 for a whole quarter? As Mr. John said,
Per month.
per month,
It is 25 per month. Yeah.
25 per month. But you divide that 25 shillings per month, how many are you expected to consume per day? Honestly, look at a kilo of sugar. Look at the salt. Just simple things. And you think 25 is enough for this older person who can no longer vent for himself or herself, and yet has grandchildren depending on her, especially those down the grassroots, as one of our colleagues mentioned, that these daughters of ours, these sons of ours, the ones who rest in peace, and then the children are sent to the grandchildren. Can they really be able to cope with that amount of money? So when we come up and say, no, we need more, we are not being ungrateful, but we are just informing the community that look at us. We are a big community, very responsible. We are the people who are nurturing you. And you very well highlighted it, Amoni, that we have the kind hands, the soft hands, which can make you sleep, which can treat you very well. Therefore, for us not to slap you, we don't need that stress. We need to be taken care of properly. We need to have the finances so that we can look after our grandchildren comfortably.
All right. UBC Ground Zero, broadcasting live on 98 FM, UBC Red. We're also live on clean sister radio stations, UBC Butebo, covering eastern parts of this country. We're also live on Western Nile FM, covering Teso, Western Nile, Karamoja, and northern parts of this country. We're also live and clear on Match 100 FM, and we're streaming live on YouTube. You just enter UBC Ground Zero, and you'll be part of this conversation. I'm going to take a very short break. When I return, I'm going to get a number of your calls. Call on 776-511-426. The number that you can call us on is 776-511-426, and you'll be part of this conversation. What do you think needs to be done by different stakeholders in order to recognize and embrace the old persons in Uganda? Do you think how the government is treating them is enough, or you think that a lot needs to be done? We're discussing Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. UBC takes a very short break, and I pray that you don't go away. We're coming back in a bit.
This is Ground Zero Season 2. Stay tuned. We shall be right back. It's hot.
We lost it. We didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the Casual Tenure System, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Ground Zero Season 2, live and syndicated on your public and national broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
This is The Link, bringing you information on important topics that affect your daily life, only on UBC Radio.
Welcome to The Link on UBC Radio with me, Lorene. Today, let's talk about road accidents in Uganda. More than 20,000 people die every year in road accidents in Uganda. The majority of these accidents are preventable. Poor road safety culture and failure to enforce traffic rules are majorly to blame for the high rate of accidents. Road accidents kill many people in developing nations like Uganda. They are the leading cause of death among the young people aged between 18 years and 32 years. There have been many adverts against drunk driving, but many Ugandans have chosen to ignore these messages. The World Health Organization has singled out road accidents as a majorly public health problem in developing countries. This means that fatalities are no longer regarded as mere government statistics, but as a serious public health and development challenge requiring urgent concerted global action. In Uganda, majority of road accidents involve buses, matatus, and motorcycles. Many hospitals in East Africa have reserved special wards for border accident victims. Many Ugandans rely on buses, matatus, and borders for movement, hence the need for more energy and resource to be focused on enhancing safety of the public road transport system. Concerted effort from the ministry, police, Uganda National Roads Authority, and other stakeholders in the transport sector is needed to implement some of the guidelines that can help people survive the carnage on our roads. We should change our road use culture. For instance, observe speed limits, proper vehicle maintenance, and respect other road users, including cyclists and pedestrians. The private sector is also encouraged to start training schools for bus and lorry drivers. According to the police, road accidents are blamed on the unqualified driver who loads the truck with twice the permitted tonnage, faulting brakes, and a tire burst. It is a fact that human error, ineffective and defective vehicle condition combined account for 90% of most road accidents in Uganda, while road condition accounts for only 5%. It is not difficult to demonstrate that counterfeits dwell in human error and defects. Road accidents have different types of injuries: head, chest, and abdominal injuries, which are the most life-threatening injuries to the victims. Road accidents are ranked among the top 10 causes of mortality for all ages in Uganda, alongside malaria, respiratory infection, anemia, meningitis, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS, to mention but a few. In respect of the very high death toll from road accidents, it should be noted that pre-hospital setting is by far the most predominant place, where 85% of deaths occur in many local medical centers. However, it's irrefutable that timely pre-hospital care can reduce injury severity, reducing the trend of road accident deaths by saving lives, treating injuries efficiently and effectively, preventing infections and injury-related diseases, as well as preventing disabilities. Furthermore, given that each group of the road users is exposed to different risk factors from road accidents, a trimodal approach should be employed in guiding road safety in Uganda. In this case, all ages and genders, settings, and economic status quo should be considered, especially when it comes to low or middle income areas. Therefore, promoting road safety, sensitization, and education is not only needed in schools, but it's also needed in homes vis-a-vis at a family level. Where possible, parents should provide necessary accompaniment and supervision for their children while on the road. In the same vein, the high road accident risk posed by border is inevitable given Uganda's underdeveloped transport system, because border transport mode is fairly affordable for the majority of Ugandans compared to more expensive motorized transportation. Yet it is a serious contributory factor to road accidents despite its affordability in being a quick means of transport. Borders have emerged as a silent killer of many Ugandans, despite the efforts made to mitigate the problem. Your life is in your hands. Don't drink and drive. Always be in control of the driver or rider in case of overspeeding.
This is The Link, bringing you information on important topics that affect your daily life, only on UBC Radio.
Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The four economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss.
Zero Season 2.
Hello, dear listener. You're most welcome back to this UBC Ground Zero. We're broadcasting live on 88 FM. We're also live and clear on UBC Butebo, UBC West Nile, and Magic 100 FM. 776511426 is the number that you can call us on and be part of this conversation. You raise your concerns on what needs to be done by government, by different stakeholders, and the society of Uganda to make sure that our old persons are recognized as honorable members and senior citizens of this country. Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. Biarugawa Yalhanga John Mary is the General Secretary for Council of Old Persons from Kampala Capital City Authority. I have Honorable Wakopage is the Member of Parliament for Older Persons, and Rose Chwanka, Palliative Care for Older Persons. UBC.
Amon, good morning.
A very good morning to you, sir.
Thank you. You are talking to Juma from Kutrega.
Most welcome, sir, to this edition of Ground Zero.
Interesting.
Do you think the elderly people have been recognized by different stakeholders in this country?
Yeah, thanks very much for our topic of today.
Okay, sir.
I would like also Brandy to thank you for this initiative which has taken place long ago, and we used not to think much about the grandees at home. So now to me, it beats my understanding. Before I had one of them, their representative, who was saying that next financial year they are hoping increment in their pay. To me, I still condemn that. Reason being, the current one who registered, who are receiving this money, this pay, there were no equity, there were no balancing of every grandee who reached 30 age. I would like them to go back and do their analysis. How many were left out? And what were the cause? Why other people who are qualified, their age is really, you can obviously see by your physical eyes that this really has reached to the age. This one is start paying from the government. But due to some weaknesses from the chairman or within the local councils, the areas where these people are coming from, there were no transparency. And there were other balloon issues whereby these ones, the children are earning money, these ones, the children are having this and that, whereby it is not the case. You see, some of the grandees, their fingerprints have been washed out. They are just smooth. Even though they put the ink, they stamp it, there is nothing like a fingerprint. It will remain there. That is one challenge. And now others, they have not got their national ID. They don't have it. Now, who is to help them such that they get that national ID? Government have to come back and do some research about it.
But there are so many structures that have been put to favor the old persons, from the local councils, the equal opportunities, the National Association for the Old Persons, the Ministry of Gender and Social Development. And
this will touch. I'm talking much about those ones who are in remote cities. Take example from Nepi. When you go to Nepi, leave town, go yourself to these small access roads, let me call routes, which can link you to village. Some of these older persons, even they don't have culvert where maybe could help them to cross to the other river to the other side.
Okay.
Either maybe when they need a help from these grandchildren, to pull them, support is too far. Now, how will they receive these? Because now they are beneficiaries of that money. But now the services are not reaching to them. So we need service deliveries in equal line. We need them to be balanced. I need government, first of not to add more increment, but to go back and do reshuffle to see where was the mistake.
Okay. Your last comment or go forward?
My last comment is about we, the youth, please, let us give respect to the grannies.
Okay.
Because now they are like our consultants. I'm just a youth. I don't know how I came to exist in this world. But they have all the background of the space of that piece of land where I'm staying in. But the other judge has the history about that place. Can tell me that the person who owned that land long ago was Mr. So-and-so, Mr. So-and-so like that. So, youth, let's give respect to our grandparents. Thank you so much.
Mr. Juma, before you go, I treat respect to equal to credit, where we should give credit where it is due. Should we respect the old persons even when they have not respected themselves?
Yes, for us we shall take them because they're out of their age. They have lost some of their senses, but we have to take credit that we have to give them respect.
All right. Thank you so much for being part of your basic ground zero today.
Welcome.
0776 511 426 0776 51 14 26 is the number that you can call and be part of this conversation. UBC ground zero.
Hello. This is Boniface Okwe.
Most welcome, sir.
I'm 61 years.
Where are you coming from, sir?
Palisa.
All right.
All the age is a gift from God. How many of our friends, village mates, or bees have died and we are still alive? How many went with AIDS, COVID, measles, malaria, and people of 60 plus are alive? How many are terminally ill, right from infancy maybe? So reaching 60 and above is not a liability. We should embrace it. 2, aging is an inevitable process right from birth, and we are heading towards death. Nobody can delay aging.
Yes,
and
sir.
nobody should fear aging because it is an inevitable process. We can only delay death by treatment, but otherwise aging is what we must embrace as an ongoing process, and we cannot alter it. Thirdly, old age must be prepared for. Those who feel old age have not prepared for it. When you reach 40, the bell and the alarm is already ringing. You are heading towards the 60, so there is no need to fear it. We should embrace that we have hope. And that means that the fourth point I am saying is that build a home to go to at age 60, you are not a dependent. Old age is something very few and very rare people reach. So I must congratulate those who have reached 60 and above. And thank that God should actually extend their candles, but also to the youth. It is difficult to reach 80 plus, given the torture and the troubles ahead of us in these years. Now, going to government contribution, very little trickles to the age, the old. Even if you enumerate all those programs, very little money goes to the age. And when you raise the age threshold to 60 years plus, there are very few of them. Must we wait until a person reaches from 60 to 80 to benefit? That is extremely unacceptable. So there should be a method at which you reduce the age of beneficiary to 60, so that automatically one is 60 and disabled, we are not a liability. If a person is disabled and at 40, still is productive, is better than a person who is 80. So I think let us have a second glance at what we are doing. We are driving very fast in the wrong direction.
Are you feeling the government structures in Palisa, or you have to come to Kampala in order to benefit as an old person?
We are feeling that what I'm saying, like in all other parts of Uganda, very little trickles to the old elders.
We thank you, Mr. Boniface, to
And
be part of
the
UBC.
hurdles they go through are so many and so demanding.
Okay.
Okwi Boniface.
Thank you, Okwi.
Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. 0776 511 426 is the number that you can call and share your opinions about this interesting topic of the day. Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. Ground zero. UBC, you're live and clear. Hello? You call and you don't talk. 776 511 426 is the number that you can call and be part of the conversation. Let me hold for the callers now. Let me pick on one. UBC?
Hello.
UBC,
Yes, sir.
you're live and clear.
Thank you. Good morning.
A very good morning to you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you for hosting those ladies and gentlemen.
All right.
This is Kipiri Simon calling from Tororo district.
Simon
Kipiri.
Kipiri.
Yes.
Your concern, please.
I thank those people. They work in parliament and for thinking about the older people. Actually, I appreciate them and the government of Uganda. For what I see in my village here, when there's an old man, and when this old man doesn't have money, the man is very quiet and innocent. And during a time of distribution of the money, the man really move and go and pick the money. And if the man already receives his money, man is very active and healthy. And the second thing, there's another thing which makes me very sad. To those who are not receiving and they don't have access to receive the money because they don't have national ID. During the time of detecting national ID, the computer denies them and they try several times but all in vain. So now they are just looking, meanwhile others are going to pick the money and they are just there. And I kind of request those lovers and advocates maybe to see a way forward for such a people.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being part of UBC today.
You're welcome.
Greetings to the people of that side.
Thank you too.
We love you so much and wish you all the best.
Well done.
Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. John Mary, General Secretary for the Council of Old Persons from KCCA, Honorable Wakopage is the MP of Elderly, H1 Karos is the Pajari Care or older persons. You are the last of this segment of callers.
Yes, this is Bidong Victor from Pakwat district.
Your name again, sir?
Yes, so
You said your name again, sir?
The name is Bidong Victor. Bidong Victor.
Bidong Victor.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, so I would like to talk about that old age.
Okay.
Yes, so it is good that they have given us the right way to go. Yeah, so the way they are giving out the reward to the old people is not favoring the youth first of all. Yes, it is in this way. I'm not that talking as a youth, but it is in this way. You get that most of the youth are suffering and the old people are earning money and yet they cannot now do what the youth can do actively.
Okay.
Now you get that in the process, youth start crying, like now we are hearing that there is increase in money that the old people have to start getting. The program is in progress. Now I say that why can't they also look aside on the youth who are disabled and they are struggling to find their way forward? And these people who are disabled, they are the very people disturbing the older ones at home. Okay. Now it is better they give them way that they can look for their own decisions to make by rewarding them something. As we look now, the government is not looking very strict to these people who are having disabilities.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And
Your last comment on that?
now, the option I have is that the youth who are not disabled are getting jobs even without doing any, because they only go for other trainings and they get jobs under government payroll, and yet these other disabilities who cannot afford to go for that training are not being paid, and they're not given any sectors to work on under government payroll, and they also need their ways forward to their future.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you
so
so
why
much.
can't they look into that? Why can't they program for these those who are having disabilities and they at least reach certain level of senior course, they have completed O level or even A level, but they are free to reach that level of course
Victor,
because of some factors.
Victor, are you saying that the old persons are getting much?
The old person, it is true that they are not getting much, but now with the disabilities,
okay,
they are not actually getting even something, according to my view.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm just giving us a request, if
All right.
possible.
Okay.
Thanks.
Uganda at 60, the resilience of and the contribution of the elderly in the changing world. Allow me pause the callers for now. I will give you some time to come if time allows. Allow me go to the studios and for my guests to address such concerns. You have heard from the people of Uganda from different districts and parts of this country raising the pertinent issues about this very important topic and discussion that we're having today. What do you have to tell them as leaders, representatives of the old persons, and the senior citizens of this country? Starting with you, Honorable.
Thank you, Amon. The first question was about that there is discrimination when they are paying this money. I would like to assure the caller that there is no discrimination, because the way they pay this money, they use the NIRA register. All those who were registered during NIRA, and they look for those who are 80 and above, because now the program covers the whole country. But what happens? You remember when we are being registered by NIRA the first time, people didn't take it seriously. Some people gave wrong age, others didn't even go there, especially the old people. Me in my village, they were saying, why should we go and register? We are already old. Those programs don't concern us. They didn't know that such a program concerning them was coming. This one, as leaders, we have already noticed it, because even if the government said that they should be paying those from 8 and above, many of those who are 8 and above are missing out. Why? They either don't have IDs, or if they have IDs, the age which is there is wrong. They put there less years than what they have, or they were registered wrongly. So a lot of things took place during registration. And we, as government, we have noticed all these things. In fact, we are trying to see how they can be rectified. One of the ways we want to rectify these things is that we had suggested they should select a committee to go in each and every sub-county, and at least they should go with the registrar from the district. They go to the sub-county, they go with the registrar from the district or from the sub-county, whoever was registered wrongly or whoever was not registered and is already 80, they look at these people and then they see how they can register them again. Already, this exercise has taken place. The Ministry of Gender sent people to go and register these people. They did it, and now it is the Ministry of Gender with those forms, and they are trying to see how everybody is going to be paid. But there is no discrimination at all.
Interesting. Rose?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Amon. I appreciate all the callers, Boniface, Okwi, Simon, and then Victor. I really picked on Victor, and I realized that there is an attitude in our communities towards the older persons. Some people think that once you're old, you have no needs, and the money should go only to the youth, which I think is a bit unfair, because all these people need to be provided for, but the youth has still the energy to work. So the 25, which is going to the older person, should not make the youth uncomfortable. And actually, they should be supporting this older person even much more. Remember, this older person worked and fed or provided for the people who are youth now. And it is at this age that he cannot get anything. And remember, not every older person is actually benefiting, as we have been saying. And that's why we are in this studio to advocate that each and every older person should benefit from this program of the 25,000, so that they can at least have, not, although it is not much, but at least have something, because they contributed to the development of this country. So the systems need to be streamlined so that the money trickles down, and the youth are also getting something, but some of them don't know that there are these opportunities because they've not kind of paid attention to the programs of the youth which the government is providing. And some of them, I should say this, are not interested in working. They want to receive free things. Thank you.
We cannot deny that the youth and other special groups are benefiting from government projects, because all the government projects and programs cater for all the persons in Uganda. Honorable just said that the old persons have 10% of the parish development model, like the youth and many other groups like women and others. But the attention, the care that is given to the old persons, to us who are not beneficiaries because we have not reached there, we think that we've been given enough because we are part of this government project, and you also have that extra payment of 25, which you called it less. John Mary, you have heard from the people of Uganda raising different concerns.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hammond. To begin with, you've given us a theme, Uganda at 60, and we include Uganda has attained 60 years of independence, and then we are looking at the International Day for Older Persons. So that's why
1st October.
1st October. Because now, like we are in the studio here, we are in the stock taking. Because these big days, they are for a reason to stock take what has happened during this period of 60 years and this International Day. To go to the caller's concern, I wanted to assure members who are listening in. Actually, we request you to be our ambassador there who are listening. In the first place, those people who are claiming, who have been saying that our older persons are being discriminated, yes, discrimination do exist in our communities. But now, our government has done it good, that we have structures right from the village. So you start from your village to ask who is executive committee for other persons. If they are not there, you read that report to the ministry so that they can cause the by-elections. We have councillors in our whole parish, sub-counties at the district level. We have these councils up to the district. So you try to align with those councils, though those councils, they are not operational, like you have said, that you are being given structures, that is enough. Having structures without being facilitated does not work, because you will not help serve the purpose of this learning. So now here we are trying to address these questions, and then to address the concerns of our people as we take this day of now about
one of the callers You might be specific. They say that most of or some of the old persons, they don't access government projects or these beneficiaries from the government because they don't have the prerequisites or the requirements. I talk of the national IDs because they were not captured in the system, as Honorable put it. What are you doing as leaders to help those people who have not benefited because they are lacking some of the requirements?
We are live there, and we have made a lot of petition to the Ministry of the Gender, and even our MPs. We have alerted them. They have our petitions. So for us as readers is to get this information. Unlike in Kampala, whereby we have those people who can reach out to us, but those people in our local governments, you are advised to ask your sub-county chairperson, district chairperson, who are the council member in our sub-county or a parish or so just a minute.
Please.
Now what I'm trying to ask here that the ministry should work with our councils. You know what happens is that these technocrats, when they get information, they send to their fellow technocrats. Like now, the permanent secretary sends the message to the CD and CDOs and clerks. I mean cows, and they sit on this information. Another thing which I do encourage our people that the government this time around has come out with some additional programs, that is PDM, parish model. We have heard that we have that percentage. Then there is SEGO, which is in Hofing also. So what we need is just to keep our ears open. And those you young men who are listening, who are reading newspapers, do justice to our fellow, to your judges. Take that information to them when you read it. But what happens when they read this information or they listen to this information? They just keep it for themselves. You tell them, try to mobilize them, because what you are doing right now, it is the foundation. When you find this structure, when you make this structure vibrant, when you get old, you have a fallback position. So another thing I'm asking is the exemption of taxes. The good thing we have there, our MP here, we need to plead to our government, local government and the parliament, to exempt those properties for other persons. You find it, some other persons are put on a structure in place to help, because you had some people saying they didn't serve, they didn't cater for them. But there are those who have structures, there are those who have small businesses. But when this government, the local government, they come and tax the same. So in appreciation to the contribution made by the other persons, this should be our gift for this year. And the insurance companies also should come on board to offer because they make a lot of turnover. So they should work with the parliament to offer this free medical insurance for our people.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. UBC Red. We're also live and clear on Magic 100 FM. We're also live and clear on Butebo Radio, and we're also live and clear on West Nile FM. We're also streaming live on YouTube. You just put UBC Ground Zero and you'll be part of this conversation. Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly persons in the changing world. Ampaide Amon Ortega is my name. Okwi from Palisa said that old age is a gift, and congratulated you people who have reached that. And he said that we cannot delay it, and it is inevitable, which we must prepare for it. Raising all these concerns as the old persons, we are not recognized, we have not been given this, we are not respected, we are paid less, structures are not favoring us, society is neglecting. How are you prepared? How should you be prepared in order not to be humiliated when you turn 60, 70, or 80? Is it not a personal contribution than society and government that you are aging and you see it, that I need to prepare it for when I click 40, 50, that I may avoid all these consequences when I get to that age. Let me pick all your ideas on that preparation for the old age, starting with you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Amon. Let me first thank Amon, who appreciated the work we are doing, and that these old people, after receiving this money, some of them now look healthy. Thank you so much, Simon, to have observed that. Now, what you are talking about these old people preparing themselves, this what we are doing today is one of those. We have such programs like International Day for Old Persons, like Abuse Day for Old Persons, and what we usually do, we rotate these programs. We go to different districts so that these people in those districts, they should know that being old is not a crime.
Yes.
Being old is not a disease. It is a process which all of us must pass through before you go to meet your Lord in heaven. But before going there, how do you prepare yourself? Just as you have said. If you are a civil servant, we are encouraging them. We have even started having talk shows and what, telling civil servants to prepare themselves before they clock 60, so that when he clocks 60, he doesn't look surprised, or it doesn't take him by surprise. He should know that at 60, he has to leave government and he must have something to live on. Those who are not in the government, that's why we have started this program called Sego, whereby we shall be putting money in circles for old persons. As I have already told you that right now, government has released 5 billion, which is going to go into these circles. This money is purely for old persons, to assist them, and secondly, to help them prepare themselves to live that life, that standard, that life which they can afford at their age, not to be beggars, not to depend on their children, but to be able to depend on themselves. I think I would like here to thank UBC so much for having organized such a program and invited us. Those old persons who are listening to us, I'm sure they'll pick a word or a leaf, one or two from what we have talked today.
Interesting. Rose?
Thank you so much, Amoni.
Mm.
I think this is really great conversation which we are having. We are not preparing for ourselves, but for the entire community, the young ones as well. Because where we are is where they are coming. So for us talking, advocating for the older persons, we are paving a way for the youth. We would love to see definitely that the older persons in Uganda is taken care of, so that even the one who is 20 now is comfortable to walk towards his grave. He will get to know that when I'm getting there, their structures are in place, they are functional, I'll be taken care of. When it comes to healthcare services, he will be able to walk in this hospital and there is a place for the older persons. He doesn't have to fight and line up and stand for a long time waiting to see a healthcare worker. But there is a place where he will sit comfortably, and then they say, senior citizen, come in. It's not just us. We are there now, but we are paving a way for the other ones who are coming. You will walk in a health facility and they will say, oh, our senior citizen needs palliative care. There you are. And the pains of this person will be taken care of. There will be that little money which is supposed to support him in his life. And it is trickling down because the systems are working. So really, it's not that we are fighting for ourselves, but we are talking so that the systems are streamlined and we all live comfortably when we get to this age. Thank you.
Most interesting. You're most welcome, Rose. John Mary?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Aman.
Mm.
Like you have been echoing that this resilience in a changing world, it is a wake-up call. It is a call from the United Nations. It's a call from us. But the most important thing, because majority of our people, the callers who have been calling, they all portion the blame onto government. Has not done this. And yes, who is the government? The government is you. The president is a state. So what I'm encouraging our members out there, the youth and the older persons, in first place, we must have this mindset change. To shift from this idea, these are older persons, as if they committed an offense. But as we celebrate this day, this year's Older Persons Day and Uganda at 60, we must have something like act as a souvenir. You change your mind, go back home and visit these older persons. You take them, even a word, you need not to take a lot. You go and talk to them, Jaja, my father, how are you? That is another encouragement. Another thing I'd love to request from our people that we must start within ourselves, because they say charity begins at home. Before we look onto government that it has not done ABCD, but within our societies, what have we done? Me as an individual, am I of help? Have I helped these people? Once their energy is spent, what need do they want from me? So because majority of them are saying these older persons, they are getting a lot of money. That is wrong. Even when they get money, and we should stop giving a disservice to these older persons. There are some people who get old clothes which they cannot even wear themselves. They give to other persons because they take them like beggars. We are not beggars, and we are not there by our choice, but by nature. Honorable, you talked about the drugs. Drugs, they are there in UMC, but the problem we're having is our medical officers in our district. They don't make lists, because we visited there and they told us they have those drugs, but majority of the time those drugs are being destroyed. So we need that information and work with our structures so that we can mobilize our people to go for for those services. So our contribution, the intention of the United Nations of having this International Day is to see, to awaken our people, to create awareness, to create empathy in regarding of the well-being of the senior citizens. And then we need the NGOs. They are being encouraged to go. Those who are working with the other person to go. At least you cook for these other persons, or you can wash for them, so that they can gain that sense of belonging. But majority of our people are dying because they found that they are being discriminated. They are being isolated. But this time around, this year, at least you can make that effort. Okay. And we are inviting our people, other persons out there, to go in Nebi in big numbers and show the world that though we've been regarded as spent grains, but we are still there. And those who will not be able to go to Nebi, the ministry have encouraged us to make those celebrations within our local district and sub-counties.
Interesting. We have heard from the panelists on how best the people, the youth, and those who are coming close to 60 and 65, how best we can prepare. Allow me change my direction and my campus to face the direction of behavior of our old persons, our senior citizens. And allow me to start with the comment of Francisco de Ricofold. Old people love to give good advice. It compensates them for their inability to set a bad example. If you do bad, we'll treat you as a bad person. Is that true? How should you behave as an old citizen, as a senior citizen? Because most of the senior citizens are behaving like junior citizens. And you expect us to respect you when you're not respecting yourselves as old persons and senior citizens. The way you talk, the way you put on, the way you treat yourselves and treat others in society. And at the end of the day, when you're treated in the same capacity that you treat yourself, you say, This is an immoral society. Not knowing that you have a contribution to this kind of nurturing. Let me pick your thoughts on the behavior of senior citizens, starting with you again, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Amon. Really, I don't understand exactly what you are saying because, at least as far as I'm concerned, most of the old persons try to respect, not try, but respect themselves. They respect themselves because of age. They respect themselves because of what they are. Maybe you are talking to some of these like drunkards. Of course, a drunkard will remain a drunkard.
John Mary put it clear when he was in his opening statements that he met someone on the street and a certain lady said, "Mzee, let me pass." And how this Mzee reacted was not all that positive.
But that is an individual case.
How can we address those individuals in our communities? Because we live in communities where we have such cases. How should we expect them to behave?
I think, Amon, you're right.
Let me first have Honorable.
Okay, thank you. Actually, what you are saying, you cannot expect the whole community to behave in the same way. Some are good citizens, others are not good. But then, that being the case, that is why we as leaders, we have structures right from LC1 up to the national level. I think through our structures, we should be talking to these people. We should be organizing barazas. We should be having calls.
Okay.
We should be coming to TVs, to radios or TVs, and talking about old people. But me, as far as I know, really if they are there are very, very few cases. But the majority of old persons respect themselves.
A few cases, but also you remember that a bad example in one society may spoil the entire generation. And you put it clear also, if I am to remember well, that some old persons are treated as yes. Because why? Because of the behavior, not that they are witches or witch doctors, but how society perceives them. Someone says, "I'm not taking my children to their grandmother because of ABCD." Let me cross to Rose. The behavior of our senior citizens.
The behavior of our senior citizens. You have kind of said something which has confused me. Well, you're right. There might be people who behave in a funny manner which is not acceptable in society. But remember, there are lots of causes that could lead to that. Could it be stress? Is that person mentally okay or needs to be helped? But otherwise, an insane old person may not behave the way you think, because we are the people who are trying to instill discipline in our people. We are the people who are guiding the young ones to behave the way they should behave. You talked of it slips my mind. I've lost it. Sure.
Okay.
I'll come back to it.
If I can remember, you said that some of our old persons wear makeup. They dye their hair.
No. I've got it. What I wanted to say, that the community says that somebody is a witch because of the way she behaves or the like. No, it's not really true. When the community sees, and I've been there in the communities and I live in the communities, when they see that you are old, they think the older persons are witches.
Exactly.
And
Why?
remember,
Why?
when we grow old, at times we lose our mind. Like I've just lost it. When I was talking to you, I forgot something. It is normal. The brain grows and forgets certain things. And when you go into the community and you find this older person who is wandering, then they will think that person is mad. That person is a thief. That person is a witch. And yet it is the aging process that is affecting that individual. The person who used to dress up smartly Now you dress up, you're no longer smart. And when the people look at you, they start kind of stigmatizing you and even naming you, you know, unless you are helped. Remember, you don't have the energy to wash, you don't have the energy to iron, and then you dress up because you just have to dress up. And at times people even lose their head and they cannot dress up. So they end up saying those ones are wizards, which is not correct. And communities need to be sensitized about this.
Interesting. John Mary.
Yes.
The behavior of our senior citizens is alarming.
I can see that quite true, like you are ready to be, though there are some elements. And this situation has been created by the circumstances that we are going through today. And then we do always forget that the background of one individual. If somebody was brought up in such a loose family, loose manner, don't expect him, even at old age, to behave different. But that being said and done, like Madame Rose said, psychologically, we have this situation, subconscious and middle conscious and this. So you find sometimes these people, they behave because of the situation which has been imposed on them. For example, you find an older person used to have his properties. His son or daughter, you have come and sold the whole properties, and he is on the street. You understand? And then there is no love, because the moment we get old, we go back to our old age. We need tender and care. But and for you, Amon, I want you to make a research right from here. You go in the village, you visit those homes where you find they are well-to-do, or that family which is still intact. They are older persons, they will not behave the same. But don't expect that old person to behave the same like an old person on the street. Now, we have in Kampala or street older persons who are begging. So that frustration and that stigma sometimes psychologically brings out the. So before you judge that individual, you need to go back and get his history. Well, has he been like this, or this kind of situation has changed him? Because even you are in the studio here. If I come and annoy you, now you're. But the listeners will start listening a different tone. So now, before we judge them, we need to judge the situation. What has person to behave the way he is behaving? Especially for women, you find a man like him, our MP has said, she used to enjoy her love alone, but now this old man has brought on this young man. The whole love has been shifted to this younger woman. Don't expect that older woman to behave or to have that good response.
Mzee John Mary,
yes,
we are talking about the changing world.
Yes.
And Honorable was put it clear that when they are getting old, the Mzee would pick on this maid. Why don't you adapt to the changing world and do what would attract this man to keep attracted to you?
Now, if I'm on hot take, do you think I'll have the buttock, those hips as they used to be in my youth? No. Why? Again, even if somebody puts on those lipsticks, do you think body image will remain the same? Though you can see that there are even some pills which they are brought in the market that takes away those body levels. But for me, what I would encourage our society is, before you judge this older person to behave the way he behaves, first get the background of the history. The background history.
All right.
Yeah. Is
Thank
there,
you.
and you find that even we have this sickness which the society have not realized, the dementia. Dementia. You understand? Also,
What
has
is that
contributed.
about?
The dementia.
Dementia is about this person forgetting.
Forgetting.
He forgets even his way. He may even forget his children. And
And when you
Then
say you don't care
you
about
don't
us.
care about
You don't
us.
care about
Then
it.
the person starts meandering,
Mhm.
starts walking aimlessly, and that's where they say that that person is mad, that person is a witch.
Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. We are expecting them to celebrate their day on 1st October. We are discussing this to prepare them to this great celebration. UBC takes a very short break. When I return, I'm going to get a few callers. Then we go to the way forward as we end up this edition of Ground Zero. I'm coming back in a bit. I pray you don't go away, but get your phone near you and call us and be part of this conversation. I pray for those who called before to give chance for those who have not called. UBC.
This is Ground Zero Season 2. Stay tuned. We shall be right back. It's hot.
With that state, we didn't know exactly what the problem was on the ground. There is no pretending about the effect of this thing. There's no pretending about it. Nobody showed. It's a problem.
It's balanced.
This is not the stage at which you start planning to tax a commodity like coffee, especially from down there.
It's intellectually engaging.
The Constitution provides that the land must be registered under the casual senior system, which is one of those that's recognized by the Constitution.
Welcome back. Ground Zero Season 2 continues.
Welcome back from that very short break, our dear listener, and we thank you for being part of us from the time we started. This is UBC Red, and we are live and clear on Magic 100 FM, UBC West Nile FM, Butebo FM, and we're streaming live on YouTube. UBC Ground Zero. 776-511-426 is the number that you can call right now and be part of the conversation. Ask anything that you need to ask and be part of the conversation. We are talking about Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elderly in the changing world. Yalhanga Jane Mary, General Secretary for Council of Old Persons from Kampala Capital City Authority. Honorable Wakopagi is the Member of Parliament for Old Persons. Rose Chwanuka is the palliative care for older persons. 776-511-426 is the number that you can call. UBC. Call again on 776-511-426 and raise your concerns. As I'm getting my phone on, let me pause this as we're coming to the end of our discussion. Two parents, two people can care and raise 10 children, 10, even 12 that you have given birth to, and you can as well get others and they become 15 and you are able to care for them, raise them until they become great citizens. But it is confusing that 10 or 15 or even 5 cannot care for two parents and they grow very well. Where is the problem coming from and how best can we solve that? UBC 776-511-426 is the number that you can call and be part of this conversation. Allow me go to the studio. Who are the problems? Where is the problem? Two can raise 10 or 5 children, but the children have failed to raise their parents, their grandchildren, their grandparents. Is it the way how we nurtured them? Is it the society? Should we blame it on government? Is it the changing world? Where is the problem coming from? Allow me start with John Mary this time.
Okay, thank you, Aman. This is a very pertinent question that you posed on us. The first thing, like I've already been saying, that we need to have a mindset crusade. Because this youth, or this generation, for them, they think when they get somewhere, they think it was their own effort and they have sweat for that. So these old person or old ages have no law at all to their lives. And then it is even like it has been said that the challenging world. Majority of our youth today, they are pro living executive life. So they think that small money, maybe what 10,000, saving it aside and sending it to their parents, will be a waste. So they have this syndrome. The money is scarce, the economy is dead, which is not good. The death of the economy is within their minds. Because even when you have 10,000, you can get 5,000, you send to your parents. And that's why even we have these international days, so that we can keep on reminding these youth, these other society. And not only the youth, even the society, the service providers. For example, for me, I'm an advocate. For the rest of the person, there are some offices where you approach, you come up with a concept note, say, okay, they put it aside there. Then when you go there, they tell us we don't have funds.
Okay.
And you will hear somebody sponsoring the football match or sponsoring this nyege festival. But when it comes to us to help our senior citizens,
Okay.
because these people have lost the moral.
UBC?
I'm sorry, I'm back because fresh callers are not calling.
Yes, I was setting my phone.
Yes, this is Juma again.
In seconds?
Yes. So it is a message. Youth and the public should know that old age is a reverse.
Okay.
Because when you were young, that's how you were being catered for. So it is like when the old age comes, you will be catered for as a reverse. Thank you so much.
Most welcome. It's a reverse. Honorable.
Yeah, thank you, Amon. Actually, what you are saying, it's true. It is happening. We are seeing it in some homes or with some people, but not everybody.
Okay.
And the causes are many. One is the way of bringing up. That connection you had with your own children. You might be having a lot of money, you have everything, but the way you brought up your children. I saw this one happening to somebody, but I don't want to discuss it, otherwise those concerned will know it. That one can also happen. Two, poverty. Some children would want to support their parents, but because they are poor themselves, because they have their own children whom they want to support, now when he thinks of supporting his parents again, he says, how about my own children? At least the muzee can live on what he has.
Okay. UBC?
Hello,
You're live.
UBC, everybody.
All right.
Yes, thank you very much, UBC. And I am Henry Baguma, and of course, right now I'm here in Port Poto, in Western Uganda, Port Poto City. So I thank you very much for this program, and particularly the elders for coming to share with us the issues of the older people. I must say, for me, I'm very thankful for government. First of all, to have created the slots for the elders in Uganda. Right now, in the last 2 years, we have councillors at LC1, LC2, LC5, and up to Parliament. And not only that, we have a member we have cabinet members there. We have also a minister in charge for elders. So I think this is a very, very good start. And my view is that the future, therefore, sounds much better. But as I conclude, I think it will be better to encourage everybody, the grandchildren, to be more responsible for their elders, not to wait for government all the time. Because, for example, they are giving us 25,000 shillings, but some people are much richer than that, and they can make more contribution. Otherwise, I'm very grateful to Honorable Wako and the team for whatever they are doing for us, and the minister, the team are doing good work, and let us all be in Nebi for the national celebration. Thank you very much, and stay well.
Thank you so much, sir. And greetings to the people of Fort Portal. That is Henry Baguma, a UBC correspondent live in Fort Portal, and we're glad that you are part of UBC Ground Zero today. Honorable, you had something to say on that?
Yeah, I still wanted to, not
Mm.
much really.
In
But,
seconds, as I cross to
yeah, but I also
Rose.
want to call on everybody
Mm.
that on 1st October we are going to celebrate International Day for Old Persons.
In
Those
Nebi.
who can afford to go to Nebi, you are welcome.
Okay.
Those who cannot afford, please put on your radios because it will be live on, I think on UBC, because the president is going to be the guest of honor.
All right.
And this is one of the ways we are trying to create awareness among the old persons so that they should to know that we are also there and the society should accept us and they should learn to live with us.
Okay.
Otherwise, before we were being neglected, but now we have come on board. So I
Interesting.
call on everybody to observe that day, and I've been receiving calls. Very many people want to go to Nebi, but some are being cannot afford because of transport and whatnot. Those who can afford to go there, please go. Those who cannot afford, wait. Next time we shall go to another region to celebrate that day. I'm very grateful to the Ministry of Gender, which is organizing this program, and for UBC, which is creating awareness among our communities.
Interesting. Rose?
Thank you so much for your observation.
Mm.
I liked this. Parents can care for 10 children, but the children, one child may, the 10 children may not even care for the 2 people.
Mm.
It is a good observation. As my colleagues have said, I agree with them. But also I want to say that could be mentality. It's the mentality of some of the children. Some of the children have no interest. They have their own interest. They have that egoism in them. Then they drive all the attention to themselves and their families. They forget their children. My colleague talked of poverty, but actually you may find somebody who is well off here in Kampala and does not remember their parents back home. They are living in a crumbling house, and for them, they're here in Kampala enjoying. And to me, I tag that to mentality, egoism. They have their own interest and they are focusing on their own needs and they forget the parents, which is quite unfortunate. I'm glad we're here now creating awareness that today we are the people talking about this aging, and tomorrow they will be in our shoes. Therefore, we need to prepare the grounds properly.
Interesting.
Thank you very much.
Our time is not our best friend. We may not go beyond this very minute. Allow me request you, ladies and gentlemen, to give your way forward as your concluding remarks as we end our good discussion this moment. Starting with you, John Mary.
Okay. In first place, I must appreciate those good listeners. I think we've got a lesson to learn today, and I pray you will take this message home to the relevant people. And we thank our Minister Gidudo for his effort he's putting on in for the concerns of the other persons. So as I conclude, I would love to remind you that this International Day for Other Persons, we are requested to have something which you can do for these senior citizens as a souvenir. You can build a house, you can pay a visit, because we are creating awareness and empathy regarding the contribution of our older persons. So I'm encouraging our older persons, and the most so as we are celebrating 60 years of our independence. This independence it did not come on silver platter. There are people who fought, and who, some of them are still living, and others have passed on. So for me, I encourage the youth and the older persons. The older persons themselves also, you should know that you have your own rights. You should not discriminate yourself. And then you isolate, say, for me, I'm done, nothing else. No, you come out and show it up, and you'll call it to us. And then people talked about these issues. We request you to make a report. In our National Council, we have that section 17 that you make a report and we send to the ministry so that these matters, since now we have our MPs, can be worked on. When you sit on your rights, then it will be your problem. So we thank our government and we encourage our government to keep on advocating for our rights, and those rights are advocates.
Thank you.
Let's join together.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam Rose.
I'll be brief and say that let us all observe the International Day of the Older Persons, which is 1st of October. It is a day for us. Aging is a process, so everybody will be there. Therefore, we all need to prepare for our age, so that we can have a lovely ending in this planet Earth.
Thank you so much. Honorable?
Thank you so much, Amon. First of all, I want to thank very, very much UBC for having invited us and for having prepared this program for us. I want to thank all those who have contributed and all those who have been listening. I think we have learned a thing or two. Thirdly, I want to mention that aging is a process. Today we are old, tomorrow you'll be old, next time another person will be old. But during your time or my time as an old person, what shall be remembered about me? Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to us.
That makes us reach the end of UBC Ground Zero today, and we thank you for being part of us from the time we started up to this very minute that we are sending out. We have been talking about Uganda at 60, the resilience and contribution of the elder in the changing world. I want to thank John Mary, the General Secretary for Council for Older Persons from Kampala Capital City Authority. Honorable Wakapage is the Member of Parliament of Older Persons, and Rose Chuanuka is the Palliative Care for Older Persons. I want to thank you, our dear listener, for making UBC channels your most favorable channels, both UBC radios and TVs. I want to extend our appreciations to all the callers. Juma Oki Boniface from Palisa, Jipili Simon, Victor, Henry Baguma, and many others that made it a point to be part of our conversation today. I want to thank you, our dear guests, for making time to talk to the people of Uganda on this very concern. And we want to thank all the stakeholders that are making the older persons a priority as a senior citizens, and everybody who is trying to help and respect the old persons. You're doing a great work out there. I respect and thank every institution of government that have made it a point to make sure that our senior citizens get equal rights, get respected. You are fighting against their human rights and making sure that they age or they grow in a very good shape, but with a smile on their faces. I worked with Bonnie Genuine, Bob Brian Mugisha, Irare Katudebe. Many thanks to Doreen Ndezi and Cimenta Allen, our consecutive producers. I want to end with a comment by one of the scholars. It's called Karel Pelima. It is important for old people to record their own thoughts and memories, but it is really critical for young people to ask them for them. And not just for stories, but for guidance and practical advice for living. And that's what we do here at UBC. We always tend to request you, the old people, to come and share those stories and memories to help the young generation get educated, inspired, and informed. Ampere Amon Otega is my name. Allow me to leave you for other programs on UBC Red, on UBC Butebo, on Magic 100 FM and Western Nile FM. Until next time, same stations, different topics, and the same persons. Ampere Amon Otega for good and my country. Allow me sign out for now.
That was Ground Zero Season 2, a production of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Tune in to Ground Zero on UBC Radio. We discuss politics.
The money we collect as taxes in the country, we lose it in corruption.
Economics.
The four economic sectors where their jobs and wealth are: commercial agriculture, industries, services, and ICT.
Education.
The classes which will not need an abridged curriculum are the entry-level classes of P1, Senior 1, and Senior 5.
Culture and religion. And other areas of human interest. Ground Zero every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on UBC Radio. Don't miss.